Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you could have first heard this episode 9 months ago if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that will get right on your ticks.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I am Sam Nifty Delaney. So what?
Welcome along. We're looking still at the Sid James Budgies Odyssey, I think it's called. History box. It's on YouTube if you want to follow along with us. It's called The World of Budgies, starring Sid James from 1976. Public information film, I think. Although why the public would need information about budgies, I'm not sure.
Well,
but then again,
back in the old days,
business. Yeah,
the state played a bigger role in all aspects of life back then. You know, you had like there was even you had the post-war coalition, didn't you? Of sort of, you had Labour, but then you had these One Nation Tories, and they were both in agreement that the state had a role to play in every aspect of our lives, including budgie keeping, which was at the time pretty much must have been the biggest hobby in the country, right?
And they were very light touch. Was their ethos, wasn't it? Light touch on budgies.
Yeah,
was across the political spectrum.
Yeah.
I've just become aware this morning, Sam, of, Thirsk, where we did a live show, a spectacular live show a few years ago.
It really was spectacular, that particular show, yeah.
Thirsk has a parrot, not farm, what's the word I'm looking for?
Compound?
Rescue centre. A rescue centre for parrots in Thirsk. And it appears to be open to the public. I think I'm going to have to go.
I think that sounds like a great trip. I've got something I've been meaning to tell you for ages, and I can't believe I haven't.
Tell me it.
In Barnes, there is a pack of wild parakeets. A large pack of green parakeets.
Menacing? Or do you see a pack?
Yeah, it is pretty menacing, but it's sort of beautiful. And it's when you start watching the world of budgies, they're just like the green ones you see at the beginning, because as we've covered on previous episodes, what's his name, the expert, explains that
Philip
when
Marsden.
they came from Australia and they were green, and it was only once they came over here that they started changing colour. But these are the original green flavour. Before a Lampard gets in touch, an ornithological Lampard.
Do you think the taste according to...
No, the green ones are suitable for vegetarians and vegans.
The lime?
They're vegetarian and vegan ones. You can eat those. Yeah.
You can eat... Okay.
Yeah. I could eat them. You could eat any budgie guy you chose. I could eat the green ones only.
What? So that means that the yellow ones would be maybe lemon flavour. Blue ones
lemon
would...
sherbet.
I'm not sure if blue would be...
Well, they often... I don't know how, and I don't know if we've ever discussed this, and if we haven't, it seems remiss, considering how long we've been doing this podcast. But, of course, they do make raspberry flavour blue in the world of sweeties and drinks these days, don't they?
Yeah. Well, also, I was going to say, are blue ones going to be... were they going to be salt and vinegar or cheese and onion? Because
it depends if they're using the Walker's system or not, yeah.
Because salt and vinegar used to be blue when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and then Walker's turned them green.
Walker's changed it. I mean, this is quite a controversial matter that Walker's took over. Like, basically, if you were born in the 70s, 60s, if you were born before the 90s, really, you will always regard blue as salt and vinegar. But the millennial kids and beyond, they don't know the struggle. Anyway.
It's like when that fella took over at Cardiff and he put them in red kits.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Was that not because he'd bought a load of red seats? Like Job Lot, and he was going to put them in. So I think he changed the kit as well. He bought the red seats by accident.
Strong Roy Race vibes to that decision.
Anyway.
I've got my hands on a load of red plastic. And also John Lennon. Do you remember in Get Back when John Lennon's trying to buy all that plastic off of the director?
Fuck yeah, I forgot about that.
Leslie Wimso Harris or whatever his name is.
And then he asked if it can keep it afterwards.
He
after
goes,
the
yeah, I mean that plastic over there. I mean, we could use it, and then, for instance, I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I could maybe keep it. Like, for instance, if we could, all I'm saying, I mean, you ask Paul. I mean, Paul will have to be, complicit too. But from my point of view, I think that plastic would be a really good feature of the film. And then afterwards, let's be honest, who's going to have any need for plastic? I don't mind. I've got storage space at mine, so I'm perfectly happy to take it away. And the whole time, Yoko's eyeing this plastic and whispering in his ear.
That's one of the unsung stories of the Beatles, isn't it? The acquisition of free stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
George, is it Mal Evans he sends out to get him a pair of shoes?
Get me some shoes.
He assumes they're going to be free.
He goes, what sort of shoes? He goes, get me a selection of size 8s and bring them here, and I will choose what ones I want, right? And he goes, all right. And then you imagine poor old Mal Evans walking up and down Jermyn Street going, listen, I know this sounds like bullshit, but I work with the Beatles, and they're around the corner, and George Harrison, he hasn't given me any money for this, no float. You just need to literally trust us that I'm going to take away 10 to 20 pairs of leather shoes and I'll return all but one of them. So will you pay for the one? I'll level with you. It's unlikely. If it was me, yeah, I would. But these cunts haven't paid for fucking... They haven't paid for so much as a cup of tea since the early 60s. Do you know what I mean? We're talking almost 10 years of free shit. I can't see George starting now.
They should have got Mal Evans as some kind of identity card. Like this gentleman is authorised by the Beatles to kind of conduct their
all
business.
Due respect to Mal, he doesn't look that legit, does he? Do you know what I mean? If he's not like Brian Epstein. You know, he's like if Mal Evans lumbers into your fucking cobblers on Jermyn Street and starts demanding in his Scouse accent free shoes. Oh, I work for the Beatles, don't I? They're just round the corner. You gotta give them to us, it's the Beatles. Well, I can't bring them here. They're recording an album, they haven't got time, that's why they send me. You're just gonna have to trust me.
Yeah, you'd be pressing like a red emergency button under the counter, wouldn't you?
Yeah. No, but there's wild parakeets. They're in barns. I'm assuming they come from the Wetlands Centre, which I've spoken about many times, which is I think it's the biggest wetland and wildfowl facility certainly in London, possibly in the UK, and so there's all sorts of rare birds that live there, but there's no roof, so if they want they can all fuck off. Now most of them don't, because the environment that's been created down there at the wetlands is perfect. It's a perfect ecosystem for them, right? They've got everything they need. We got everything we need here. We got sky to fly in, we got trees to sit in and shagging. We got ponds to fuck about on, should we want to. And there's also grass. There's grass where we can fly down, catch a worm, pick up some seeds. It's fucking great. It's like if you imagine Club Med, but for a bird. This is it, right? But the parakeets, they don't agree. They're like, fuck this. Come on, lads. Let's go for a little fucking pipe around the neighbourhood. See what else is going on. This place is fucking boring. They're like the sort of people who pay for an all-inclusive at Club Med or similar, or a TUI all-inclusive, which is what I'm doing this year. And they pay for it, but then they get there and they hire a car and start going out anyway. And I'm always looking at those people thinking, what are you doing this for? What are you doing this for? You're wasting money. You stay here, the more you eat, the more you drink. You're making money. As soon as you leave the compound, right, that's your budget's dropping all the time. It's ridiculous. And that's what I think about these parakeets. I'm thinking, these parakeets are at the wetlands, but they fly about in a big gang. Like, I'd say there's at least 100 of them. And they always travel together.
Hell.
And sometimes I'll see them out my back door. Like, I'll be sitting watching telly. I'll be looking out the window into the garden. I'll see them. All right, lads. And they'll just fucking fly. They'll do a flyby like the Red Arrows. It's amazing.
That's amazing. Because, I mean, we've got some parakeets up here. This far north. Yeah. Not 100. There's a few kicking around, but, you know.
No, this is a big... They're well known in here. They're sort of like Barnes's answer to the Chiswick Soul Patrol. Like a local gang.
Or the Gibraltar monkeys.
Yeah, it's like a local gang of roughs who have a reputation. If you're in the local pub, like on a Friday night, and they turn up, everyone sort of falls a bit quiet and looks at their at their shoes, because they think, oh no, now we can't relax because we know there's going to be trouble at some point. The parakeets are in. Yeah. 100 pints of shandy with lime. Stick it on my tab. Yeah. Stick it on Beaky Steve's tab. Well, the thing is, Beaky Steve, the manager told me that it is overdue now by a year, and so I'm not to put an... Oh, that's what he said, did he? Get him down here, I'll talk to him. Well, he's away, actually. Where's he gone? Well, don't worry. I'll square it with him. For now, stick it on Beaky Steve's tab. It's more my job's worth. Well, I tell you what, I'm not leaving here without 100 pints of shandy with lime, right? I am not. And
because this is a lovely pub you've got, but, you know, accidents can happen.
And I'm not paying. So this is what you call an impasse, isn't it? Do you want me and the lads to fly over onto the other side of the bar and pour this fucking shandy ourselves? Because we will. You know, there's no problem.
We could cause a lot of problems in your car park. We could seriously affect your footfall this evening. People wanting to come in and even people wanting to leave. That's up to you.
We could form a parameter ring. A ring of wing. That's what we call it. And we just fly. We fly in a big circle round and round the pub to stop people entering or exiting. How do you like that? Doesn't sound that nice, does it? That's right, love. Get the shandies poured.
Good girl.
Good girl. And not in normal glasses. We want them in feeders.
Yeah, when I say pints, that's bird-sized pints.
Yeah. I want them in them bottles that are upside down with a little pipe coming out of them. No, the manager keeps them. He keeps them out back, especially for us when we pop in.
But I've got a bird update, actually. For fucking reasons, I didn't get to sleep till about 4:30 this morning.
Oh,
I
mate.
haven't got any idea why. Just one of those nights where you just can't sleep.
Oh,
I think,
tough.
because this happened to my son as well. He was affected by this last night as well. And I think it might have been residual adrenaline from Sunderland's final game of the season.
Yes, it probably was that. Sorry, I meant to congratulate you on that, mate. That's incredible.
Yeah, I honestly think it was. I just could not. I didn't sleep well the night before, but last night just couldn't switch off. But anyway,
that happens after a big game. It's really hard, and I often find, like, I mean, it wasn't quite as big for us, but you know, when we beat Man U on Sunday night, and I was kind of similar, but I often don't know what to do with the emotion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like we always joke about it, but we believe it's a silly child's game, and yet it still has the capacity to sometimes fill you with this excitement, which might just be triggering some sort of emotional memory from when you were a kid and you really did give a shit, right? But then you've got it, and you don't know what to do with it. Like, I was lying in bed trying to get to sleep after that game on Sunday, and I'm like, I kept thinking, about the result, and then I just start thinking, well, what does my brain want me to do here? I've seen it. I'm happy, but now it's time to shut my body down, right? Yeah. It's over. It's in the past. But it's like my body's saying, no, you got to keep thinking about this. So then it's like, all right, fine. I'll go through the goal in my head a few times, and I'll go through some other scenarios in my head. But it's still not enough. And so it's weird. It fills your body with an adrenaline that I think your body and mind don't know what to do with it. Because you're a grown man. You're a grown man lying in bed. You're really excited, but in a way you wish you weren't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is it. It was like an hour and a half after the match had finished, and we were like, what should we have for tea? And I said, you know what? My stomach isn't physically ready to, accept food at this point. I didn't feel as though I could eat. It was just, everything was just so overwhelming. And I honestly think that's why I couldn't sleep last night, and it was 4:30. But getting back to what I was saying was, I had the window slightly open as well because it was really warm. And the dawn chorus begins at 3:45 a.m. up here at the minute.
Oh, no.
Because we talked about Birdsong
We
recently,
love dawn chorus, but lads, come on. Have some respect for your neighbours.
I'm lying there, 3:45 a.m. and the first chirp emerged from nearby outside. Beep. And then within 5 minutes, it was all.
Oh, fucking hell. Cunts.
Fucking hell.
And they won't listen to you. If you shout out the window, like, shut it, cunts,
they don't listen.
It makes them worse. Sometimes it makes them worse.
Who the fuck are you, house cunt?
Yeah.
We're in the sky. The
Don't
trees
hear any of you
want.
fucking chirping or singing much, you miserable fucking land-bound cunts. That's what their attitude is.
So, yeah, my son had to go to school this morning, so we've got about 2.5 hours sleep each. So,
congratulations. It's really exciting. Who you got in the semi?
We've got Luton in the semi, so we've played twice this season. Drawn 1-1 each time, so impossible to predict.
Luton away. I mean, I've told you before, I'm sure, like I was making a documentary about criminals and I went to Luton and went for a drive around with the local police squad car.
Lots of documentaries appear to be made in Luton about crime, because 24 hours in police custody seems to be mainly based in Luton as well.
Right, so they go, right, we're going to take you to this pub, and it was slightly out the centre of town. It was up on a hill. It was very isolated. And they go, we're going to take you up here. This is a pub where a lot of criminal activity surrounds this particular pub. It's got a notorious reputation. So I'm like, all right. So we drive up this hill, get outside the pub, get out the car, start filming. I'm interviewing the police. Within a minute, some large tattooed man steps outside the pub, looks us all up and down, and goes to the police by Christian name. Dave, what's this? And he goes, oh, we're filming for a documentary. It's nothing to worry about. He goes, yeah, well, you're going to need to fuck off and take these cunts with you. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, this is going to get tasty. And the policeman just goes, absolutely no problem, Steve. And he goes to me, we got to go. We got to go now. And we all get back in the car and drive off. I've told you that story before. It was when you referred to it correctly as a self-policing pub.
A self-policing pub, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
So that's what Luton have thought. And that's really exciting. And you got Coventry or Borough in the final, which of course could be an Atletico Mints final, which would be tremendously exciting.
It could be, but that would be fucking chaos, because you've got Middlesbrough and Sunderland
all coming down,
decamp into London, Trafalgar Square the night before.
Imagine if Middlesbrough tried to come to Trafalgar Square. That's your patch.
Well, I thought it was, but Bob told me that it's not, because he says that Borough did it first in 2004.
You've got loads more fans than them, though, haven't you?
We've been down loads more times, but
you've got loads more fans. So,
well,
and as well,
I guess we have.
Bob will, I reckon, like, no offence to Bob, but he'll be going in the corporate fancy bit at Wembley.
Well, he probably won't. No, he
might feel too famous to hang out in the normal bits.
I'm hoping they'll put us both up in the corporate bit. Give us a box or something.
I was about to say to you, there's no way Andy will go in that bit. Even if Bob invites me, no, not me.
Fucking yeah, in a heartbeat. Fucking canapes.
Good on you, mate. Good on you.
Yeah, of course.
And but we can't talk about the playoffs, really. We cannot talk about the playoffs. I know this would usually have been discussed on our Monday episode. We didn't do one this week because it was bank holiday. So we have to say it now because it'll be old news by Friday. When we're on the subject of the players, can I just send my best wishes and sincere commiserations to the Millwall community who had it all in the palm of their hands at half time against Blackburn Rovers.
Fuck, and, what a fucking calamity.
It was very unfortunate. And
God,
all I'm saying is, if you did take out your Millwall insurance at the beginning of the season and think to yourself, well, I hope this isn't going to be a waste. Now you realise it wasn't.
That's why you get it.
That's why you get
events
it.
Like this.
And bad hard lines, Millwall. The West Ham WhatsApp groups and message boards, as they used to be called, were
forums.
Very much alive last night. We'd beaten United the night before, hadn't slept. Then Millwall implode the next day, still no more sleep.
Wonderful stuff.
Jalapeño.
Anyway, we should get back to the Sid James thing, I guess, shouldn't we? Really. Where were we at? Oh, we were at the bit where there was the bit where they showed you where you shouldn't put budgerigar cages, and I've just been looking at that again before we started.
Don't put them on your telly.
Don't put it next to the door where a kid's going to run in and bang the door. And there's another bit where it's situated in the kitchen, on the bench right next to the cooker, and there's a pan full of milk that's just overflowing right next to the budgie. don't do this. First of all, don't put your budgie there. Secondly, don't let your pan overflow. It'll be chip pan fires before you know it.
Too near a gas fire or stove.
Should we do history box about the chip pan fire? Because it's not really a thing anymore, is it?
No, it used to be massive. I mean, that... and
It used to be massive.
But the biggest fire, apart from chip pan fires, was the old... it was the old washing machine or tumble dryer fire, wasn't it? That apparently was the biggest cause of fire.
Overheating.
I don't know if it still is.
Yeah.
They've probably got the tech now.
Put them in areas where there's no ventilation, wasn't it? And they'd overheat and explode and catch fire and such forth.
And whatnot.
On to one of Sid's best lines in this thing. Let's just see if we can hear it.
What's all this about Budgies being able to talk?
What's all this about Budgies being able to talk?
I've heard it.
What's this I've been hearing?
I've heard a few fucking rumours that they can talk. Don't believe it for a second.
And so Philip Marsden does a bit of a demonstration about finger training, as it's called. And that was a very different thing when we were teenagers,
Yeah,
wasn't
definitely.
it? As we've discussed previously, but that's for a different podcast. And you get the budgie out, you get it on your finger, it helps it become tame, and you train it to say words by repeating the same word over and over again for about 25 minutes every fucking day. And I think he says it takes about 6 weeks before it actually kicks in and it starts to learn words. So it needs a lot of time and energy.
Yeah.
But then again, back in the 70s, we all had a lot
I
more
suppose
time
so,
and
but
energy
I
to do that
can't
as a hobby.
I couldn't see myself training a bird to talk.
You couldn't now. You could do it then because there's only 3 channels on. Let's face it. You know, you could quite easily spend 25 minutes.
You find yourself with
a
time
budgie
on your
finger.
hands, sitting around thinking, yeah, what? Fuck it. I might teach that bird to swear.
Yeah, exactly. And Philip Marsden talks a little bit about finger training and all that. And then he delivers, for me, which is the peach of a line in this entire film. There was a bird called Sparky Williams once. I've got to do this in 2 parts.
Lovely.
There was a bird called Sparky Williams once, and he had a vocabulary of over 550 words.
Fucking hell. Sparky Williams deep dive. Sparky Williams
Sparky
history
Williams.
box.
Sparky Williams mini deep dive commences here.
Might do Sparky
Now,
Williams t-shirts, mate.
Yeah. There might be a problem with that, but I'll come to that later on.
Okay.
It could be a copyright issue. Sparky Williams was a talking budgie who had a repertoire of more than 500 words and 8 nursery rhymes.
Wow.
And Sparky Williams became a celebrity after fronting an advertising campaign for Capen's Birdseed and making a record which sold 20,000 copies.
Fucking hell.
Sparky Williams brought out a single, which you can hear on YouTube, and Philip Marsden appears on it with him.
Wow. He's bigger than Cliff Richard.
He was bigger than Cliff Richard. And after he died, he was stuffed and put on show at Newcastle's Hancock Museum, where I believe he still resides to this day.
We should go.
We should go.
That
I
could-
could go today if I wanted to.
That could be one of ours. Cause,
straight after this.
Haven't we talked about doing branded excursions for people? Top Flight Time Machine approved excursions. That's fucking got to go on it.
With as guides. Get this. Sparky provided the inspiration for an opera by Michael Nyman and Karsten Nicolai, which was performed in Berlin in 2006. I don't know how that works. I think you know more about that.
Have you seen a picture of Sparky?
Yes, he is green with a yellow head,
Line
some nice
favoured.
spots underneath his cheek, and some lovely markings on his wings. He was owned by Mrs. Williams, who lived in Forest Hall near Newcastle upon Tyne, and she taught him to speak, recite songs, and sing nursery rhymes. By the time he was 3.5, he won the BBC International Cage Word Contest, and he was so good that he was disqualified from taking part again. Thing is, I'm so good. I'm so fucking good.
They had to
They've
disqualify
ban
me.
They've had to ban me because there's no point anyone else turning up. I'm that fucking good. See, I've just done about 38 of my words just there, just in that sentence.
While you're
And
listening,
I've just
G.
done another 15.
Actually, it keeps going up because I'm saying words at the moment, and as I'm hearing myself say them, I'm thinking, that's new. I don't even know where they're coming from. I'm pulling half these words out my arse. but they make sense.
Yeah, you appeared on the BBC Tonight programme with Cliff Mitchell more.
Great.
That's no mean feat.
Apparently, he was on the 1974 general election, the first one, because there was two. He was in the BBC studio doing poll analysis. We turn now to Sparky Williams for the Budgie perspective. How do you think this result will affect the Budgie community? Well, you see, most budgerigars vote Liberal. It's just a lot of that's just cultural, to be honest. Obviously, being birds, we believe very much in freedom above all else. And liberty, freedom, you get the gist. I don't trust Wilson. And Heath, as for Heath, he's not a bad guy, but he's unmarried. And that, for me, leaves question marks about his personal life. So for that reason, I probably will be voting Lib. But as for the other budgerigars, Mr. Mitchell Moore, I can't speak on their behalf.
But they've all said they're going to have a light touch policy regarding budgerigars, so we regard that as a good thing going forward.
The budgerigard lobby has been successful in integrating its policies to all of the major parties.
So, the opera in question, Sparky Cage and Beyond, features recordings from the Sparky archives of the Natural History Museum of Northumbria. Natural History Society. A CD of Sparky talking has already been released, and Sparky himself is on display at the Great North Museum, Hancock, in Newcastle.
I found a lovely picture which I'm gonna use for something or other. I don't know if it's stuffed Sparky. It probably is, 'cause it looks like quite a modern picture. It's from the Chronicle. And it's. Have you seen this one? It's Sparky on his perch. With his single.
With the single next to him.
The single and some sort of trophy. I don't know what the trophy's for. Oh, it's a trophy for the world champion of talking budgies. And so he's there on his perch next to these two great achievements. How many of you, human or budgerigar, can say that you have achieved these two things? A 7-inch single released on Parlophone, no less, right?
Same label as the Beatles, actually.
And a world championship trophy. In any category. Mine personally is for talking budgerigar. Right? I am a world champion who has released a 7-inch single on Parlophone. What do you make of that? No wonder I'm up here on my perch thinking like I'm the fucking dog's bollocks.
There's a little bit of Sparky here on this webpage that I'm looking at.
My name is Sparky Williams, 94 Granville Drive, First Hall. There now. They call me Pretty Sparky. I'm just a little bird. I can talk and chatter all the day. Nursery rhymes, what? The coat it is behind a little lamp. Its foot as black as soot.
Whoa.
And everywhere that's very wet is the pretty pat.
That's not Sparky. That's Mrs. William Shuley.
Yeah, that sounds like a wind-up to me.
But there was another page that I was looking at the other week, and I forgot where I've lost it now, but apparently Sparky had a bank account of his own. Such was his level of fame and income.
Do you know what bank who he banked with?
I don't know.
What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, you could have a think and come up with some puns.
Midland had a griffin, didn't they, as played by Richard Bryars? So that's sort of bird-like. That's bird adjacent.
You could Beakley's.
Oh no!
I don't know. You know what I mean? We don't want to go down that road. We're not those kinds of people.
No.
There's no need.
But you told me a long time ago that Reg Varney was the first person in the UK to use a cash point. Do you know who the first person in the UK to make a call on a mobile phone was? This is the sort of thing you'll know. I mean, I heard this on a radio show and I thought, and I nearly texted you, I thought, I bet Andy knows this.
I've forgotten who it is, but as soon as you tell me, I'll go, yes, of course it was.
Ernie Wise.
Ernie Wise, of course. Fucking hell. Obvious choice, isn't it?
Why did they choose Ernie Wise?
Well, they maybe thought that because Eric had gone, he needed someone to talk to. Yeah. And he was desperate for communication.
Who do you reckon he called? I don't know. I don't know much about the call. We did once do a deep dive into the first ever phone call by Alexander Bell to his mate.
Yeah.
And his first words were, "Are you there?" Was it that? No. Was it that? Or I'm thinking of fucking Marathon Man when Laurence Olivier keeps saying, "Is it safe? Is it safe?" Maybe that's what Ernie Wise said on the mobile phone. Is it safe?
Yeah. So what else is going on? We're almost at the end of this thing now. There's some more nuggets of information. There's a £500 reward for the first breeder to produce a pink-breasted budgie. I don't know if that's been achieved yet because this was 1976. We see some footage of newly born budgies. There's some stuff about breeding. We see them with no feathers and embryonic eyes, which is slightly terrifying. But they develop in 30 days into fully fledged budgies, so that's nice. We see some budgies who are allowed freedom of the garden, which is very trusting of their owners, I think. There's a breeding show. There's a kid who looks a bit like me. And then we see there's the bit at the end where we see the mythical twins who the woman is going to buy the budgie for a birthday present. And they're there. And the twins do look a little bit sinister. They're like twins from like The Shining or something like that. But
Sid's got no faith whatsoever in these twins. You give them a bird, it'll be dead within the first day.
That's pretty much what he says, isn't it? Yeah.
They're a fucking joke, those either let it starve or they'll fucking eat it.
And then we've got Sid with the fucking the budgie in a cage on a table, and Sid's basically threatening the budgie to getting it to speak.
Afford, or as little as you can spare on Budgies.
All right, Philip, that's enough of you.
Come on now, lad. You got an audience here now. Now say it again. Go on, you said it once for me. You did, you know, you said it just now. Now come on then. Don't be shy. Well, come on, let's hear you.
Speak, you cunt.
Look, mate, I'm warning you, this is your last chance.
I'm warning you.
Step back to where you came from.
He's getting quite aggressive.
Finish up with a bag of jelly babies.
What?
Now, you ready?
Did he offer him a bag of jelly babies? You can't give jelly babies to a
he says, this is your last chance, I'm warning you. You either speak now or you go back to where you came from and the kids get a bag of jelly babies instead. I'm warning you. Sid James is warning a budgie in one of his very final TV appearances. So here we go.
And the kids finish up with a bag of jelly babies.
Finish
Now,
up.
you ready? Sid James is the funniest thing on the telly.
Budgie just stares at him.
Can you hear me? Sid James is the funniest thing on the telly.
You deaf cunt.
Sid James thinks he's the funniest thing on the telly, mate.
And there's the Sid laugh. Sid's laughing, the kids are laughing, the woman's laughing, and then it ends with the beautiful outro music again.
You know what I'm thinking, Andy? Now we're wrapping up this world of budgerigars. I think that we should think about getting... There's only ever been one other character on this podcast, which is Results Bot, who doesn't often talk on it anyway. I'm thinking we should think about getting a show budgerigar. We could share it 6 months each.
Yeah.
In the year. And then it can just sometimes come on and say its piece.
Once we've trained it to speak, yeah.
Once we've trained it to speak, it come on, give us a little bit of give our jaws a rest once in a while.
Well, we could phase out Results Bot and we could train it to say 1-0 and then we could just call it Results Budgie. You know.
Honestly. Or, just the next season, if it's Premier League, keep Results Bot. But, you know, when we have international weekends or cup weekends, I think that's Results Budgie. That's how you phase it in. It's a bit like when you start phasing in a new host on a show. They start at first just covering at like certain times, but in the end you phase the other bloke out. Maybe we should try that next season.
It's going to get Results Bot to up its game as well, I think. Yeah. Because of the possible threat of replacement.
Well, he keeps telling me that he's going to turn over a new leaf and he's getting fit. Yeah, he says he's going to lose 10 kilos by the time he goes on holiday to Ayia Napa in July, right?
Yeah, right.
And I said, mate, listen, you're never going to lose the weight. If you you can lose the weight, sure, you might be able to do it. You've got an addictive personality, so you might really throw yourself into it. But then the whole point is you're going to Iron Appa. What's going to go down in Iron Appa? You're going to get wasted every night. No, I'm not. I'm going to take it easy. And I'm like, well, why are you going to Iron Appa then? It's a party town. It's the only reason you're going there. No, I could go out with my mates and just have a Coke. No, mate.
We go to the quiet part of town.
Yeah, well, that's bollocks. So what's going to happen is you'll lose the weight. You'll go there. You'll get back into drinking. You'll be doing pills every night, right? And gear.
I won't have a drink before 7 p.m. I have promised my friend Mike.
I drink plenty of water before going out. I stay hydrated. That way you don't get a hangover. Well, that's bollocks. Fucking starters.
When I get in, I have a pint of water and a paracetamol.
And one of those fizzy vitamins.
And a banana.
Mate, and then you're going to wake up midday, you're going to have a hangover, you're going to want to fucking have a pint of Coke and a fry-up every day for your brunch, right? The weight will come back on and you'll be back in the same toxic cycle. You'll be yo-yoing result spot. No, it's different this time. I set myself rules and boundaries.
I'm maturing. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how you're predicting first thing in August when you're back.
Right.
There we are. That's it then. That's the Sid James Budgies Odyssey History Box, whatever it's called. We'll do, I don't know, might do a tune machine next time.
Oh, yeah, we've got our Yacht Rock tune machine coming up. And Alex D, the musical director of Top Light Time Machine, has created us a Yacht Rock team as well. So let's utilise it.
Well, that's going to happen next time then. Excellent. We've also got lots of plans for a future one, but we'll keep that quiet for now.
Yeah. But, we'll drip that out later.
All right, then there you go. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.